Power. It shapes empires, builds legends, and defines every human relationship, yet it hides in plain sight. You see it in the calm silence before a decision, in the confidence behind every word unspoken. Power isn't given, it's understood, and once you see it, you can never unsee it. Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power, first published in 1998, dissects the psychology of control, influence, and survival, from royal courts to modern boardrooms. Each law reveals a pattern repeated throughout history, strategies that have guided rulers, CEOs, athletes, and artists alike. This isn't a book about dominance, it's about awareness. Because power, when mastered, isn't loud, it's deliberate. So let's begin where every story of power truly starts, with the first law. Law 1. Never outshine the master. Power is balance. It's knowing when to shine and when to step back. When you make those above you feel strong, you rise with them. But when your brilliance blinds them, it turns admiration into envy. Nicolas Fouquet, the brilliant finance minister of France, hosted the most extravagant celebration the 17th century had ever seen, a night so magnificent it eclipsed the king himself. Days later, Louis XIV imprisoned him. The message was clear: no one steals the spotlight from a monarch. In today's world, this law remains unbroken. In startups, in sports, and corporations, talent without diplomacy becomes a threat. Learn to reflect light, not overpower it. Subtlety builds longevity. Think about your own journey. Do you seek recognition or do you seek influence? The most powerful people don't chase the stage, they control the scene. So master your timing, shine with purpose, not urgency. The wise rise quietly. Law 2. Never put too much trust in friends. Learn how to use enemies. Betrayal doesn't come from your enemies. It comes from the ones you thought never would. The most dangerous mistake in power is mistaking familiarity for loyalty. Because trust, when blind, becomes the easiest weapon to turn against you. Power exposes truth. The closer people stand to it, the more it reveals who they really are. Friends crave comfort, not challenge, and comfort dulls awareness. When your success outpaces theirs, admiration turns to resentment. Enemies, however, are honest about intent. They aim to win, not to deceive. That's why the wise don't trust emotions. They trust motives. Friendship thrives on equality. Power thrives on hierarchy. When balance shifts, friendship fractures. What begins as loyalty ends in quiet rivalry. An enemy turned ally fights harder. They have something to prove. Their loyalty is earned, not assumed. A friend expects forgiveness. An enemy earns trust through necessity. Julius Caesar trusted Brutus like a brother, but envy disguised itself as honor, and the dagger came from the closest hand. Otto von Bismarck did the opposite, turning rivals into allies and building strength from opposition. In boardrooms, startups, or teams, the same law applies. Hire for skill, not sentiment. Respect rivals who tell you the truth. Power grows when clarity replaces comfort. Be wary of friends. They will betray you more quickly, for they are easily aroused to envy. Employ former enemies and they will be more loyal, for they have more to prove. Ask yourself, who challenges you to be better? Who sharpens your ideas instead of softening your ego? Power isn't about cutting people off, it's about seeing them clearly, turn emotion into awareness, convert rivalry into respect. The powerful don't eliminate enemies, they educate them. Trust measured, power earned. Law 3. Conceal your intentions. The most powerful mind doesn't speak first, it listens. The most dangerous strategist doesn't show his plan. He hides it in plain sight. The surest way to lose power is to reveal what you're thinking. In a world where everyone's watching, mystery is your greatest defense. Every plan begins to die the moment it's spoken aloud. People don't sabotage what they don't understand. They attack what they can predict. To stay in control, you must become unreadable. In the game of power, information is leverage, and silence is the strongest weapon of all. When people can't read you, they imagine what you're thinking. Their guesses become confusion, and confusion gives you control. Never explain too much. Let curiosity work for you, not against you. Otto von Bismarck mastered this law like a machine. He'd speak vaguely in politics, letting rivals misinterpret his every move. By the time they reacted, he had already won. Power lives in unpredictability. In negotiations, strategy meetings, and competition, oversharing is self-sabotage. The loudest person in the room might seem confident, but the one who says little holds the map. People think openness builds trust. In truth, it builds vulnerability. Reveal too much and you hand your power away wrapped in sincerity. By never revealing the purpose behind your actions, you keep others off balance and in the dark. Guide them far enough down the wrong path, envelop them in enough smoke, and by the time they realize your intentions, it's too late. Think before you speak. Observe before you act. The world rewards clarity and vision, but secrecy and strategy. Your silence should not be emptiness. It should be design. The more unpredictable you seem, the more predictable your victory becomes. Mystery commands respect. Law 4. Always say less than necessary. The more you talk, the less they listen. The moment you fill silence with words, you give away your power. Every sentence reveals your fears, your limits, your desires. But silence leaves them guessing. And in that mystery, you control the narrative. In every room, there's someone who speaks too soon and someone who listens too well. Power belongs to the listener because silence isn't absence, it's calculation. When others rush to explain, the quiet mind observes, understands, and decides. Speech is temporary. Perception is permanent. Control begins with discipline. When you speak, reveal only what's essential and nothing more. Leave space for curiosity. The less you explain, the more people fill in your meaning. King Louis XIV of France spoke rarely and briefly. His courtiers hung on every word, uncertain of his thoughts, and that uncertainty became control. Mystery made him majestic. Silence built his throne. In business, leadership, or negotiation, the same law applies. The person who talks least holds the greatest influence. Every word becomes a move on the chessboard. Every pause becomes pressure. People fear silence. They fill it with confessions, apologies, and information you can use. Stay calm. Let them speak. You'll learn everything you need to win without saying a word. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. Robert Greene. Observe your next conversation. Speak once and with intention. Let silence do the heavy lifting. Because power isn't in being heard, it's in being remembered. Those who master silence command attention without ever demanding it. Silence speaks louder than words. Law 5. So much depends on reputation. Guard it with your life. Reputation is power's first armor and its easiest target. It takes years to build, seconds to break, and eternity to repair. When your name carries weight, you don't need to shout, but when it's stained, even your silence screams. Guard it as if your survival depends on it, because it does. In every age, power has had two currencies, perception and influence. Your reputation is both. It precedes you into rooms you haven't entered. It fights battles before you arrive. In politics, business, and art, the strongest aren't always the most skilled. They're the ones whose names command respect before they speak. People don't see your intentions. They see your image. When your reputation is strong, even rumors lose their power. But when it cracks, truth becomes irrelevant. Perception replaces fact. Protect it constantly. Repair it immediately. P.T. Barnum understood this law better than anyone. He turned his name into a symbol, a brand before brands existed. Even controversy became fuel for recognition. He didn't chase approval. He managed attention. In today's digital world, your reputation is your shadow online. It moves faster than you, multiplies faster than truth, and never sleeps. Protect it like a fortress. Defend it with precision. Rebuild it before others define it for you. Never react emotionally to attacks. Respond with strategy. Silence disarms. Consistency rebuilds. The calm defender earns back what the angry victim loses. Reputation is the cornerstone of power. Through reputation alone, you can intimidate and win. Once it slips, however, you are vulnerable and will be attacked on all sides. What does your name say when you're not in the room? Build it on truth, strengthen it with action, and guard it with discipline. Don't chase validation. Cultivate respect. A strong reputation doesn't beg to be trusted. It demands it. Your name is your legacy. Protect it like your life depends on it, because it does. Law 6. Court attention at all costs. Power fades in silence. Obscurity is death. If they're not watching, you don't exist. Attention is oxygen for influence. Without it, power suffocates. The world remembers those who stand in the spotlight, not those who wait quietly in the dark. Every empire, brand, or movement began with a single spark of visibility. To be heard, you must first be seen. Attention doesn't just follow success. Creates. The difference between relevance and obscurity isn't talent or timing. It's presence. Those who command attention command narrative. People remember the name they hear most. Even your silence must be strategic, designed to make others wonder what you're planning next. The unseen fade fast, the seen shape the story. Harry Houdini mastered this law. Every escape was theater, every risk, performance. He didn't just break chains, he made the world watch him do it. Spectacle turned skill into legend. In the digital age, invisibility is defeat. Attention is the new currency earned through creativity, boldness, and timing. You don't need controversy, you need visibility. Stay present, stay unpredictable. Court attention, but never desperation. The moment you chase it, you lose it. Attention must orbit you naturally, pulled by your confidence, not your noise. How will the world remember you? Through quiet work no one sees, or a story that can't be ignored? Don't blend in, define the moment. Because in the theater of life, the spotlight doesn't find you, you step into it. Be seen, be remembered. Law 7, get others to do the work for you, but take the credit. Power isn't about effort, it's about direction. The smartest leaders don't move faster, they move fewer pieces better. They understand one truth. Why struggle to lift the weight yourself when you can make others build the pedestal you'll stand on? Every empire, every brand, every movement was built by many hands, yet remembered under one name. Visionaries don't just work hard, they orchestrate. They see beyond tasks, they design systems of contribution. In power, execution can be borrowed, but ownership must always remain yours. The master doesn't hammer every nail, he draws the blueprint. Your role isn't to do everything, it's to make everything happen. Delegation is not weakness, it's leverage. Thomas Edison perfected this law. He turned his lab into an empire of minds, inventors, engineers, and dreamers working behind his brilliance. Their genius built his legacy, and history remembered his name. In today's corporations and startups, the visionary who claims the story leads the narrative. You don't have to do every task, but you must own the result. Results define reputation, not effort. Let others shine in your light, but ensure that light reflects back to your vision. Credit amplifies authority. If your name carries the idea, your influence will always outlive your labor. Use the wisdom, knowledge, and legwork of other people to further your own cause. Not only will such assistance save you valuable time and energy, it will give you a gaudy aura of efficiency and speed. Ask yourself, are you chasing tasks or crafting systems? True leadership isn't in doing everything. It's in aligning others toward your vision. Build teams, borrow strength, and let your name become the symbol of their success. That's not manipulation, it's mastery. Lead the orchestra, own the symphony. Law 8, make other people come to you, use bait if necessary. The one who chases loses control. The one who waits pulls the strings. Power is not in motion, it's in gravity. The strongest forces in the world don't move toward things, they make everything move toward them. In strategy, patience is not passivity, it's precision. When you make others take the first step, you dictate the rhythm of every move that follows. Power flows to those who create desire, not those who demand attention. Control isn't about chasing, it's about attracting. Movement creates vulnerability. Stillness creates strength. When you hold position, others reveal intent first. The wise bait with what others want, time, attention, or approval, and watch as they come willingly into reach. Napoleon understood this law with surgical precision. He would pretend weakness, retreat slightly, and let enemies chase him into traps he'd already designed. Control disguised as surrender, power disguised as patience. In business and leadership, make opportunities seek you. Design systems that attract clients, talent, investors, ideas. Pull, don't push. Make your value visible enough that others move first. When people think they're leading the chase, they relax their guard. By letting them feel in control, you quietly steer the outcome. The best strategist wins by waiting. When you force others to act, you are the one in control. It is always better to make your opponent come to you, abandoning their own plans in the process. Don't run after approval, opportunity, or validation. Design an aura that attracts them. Let your silence invite curiosity. Let your stillness create pursuit. In the art of power, the greatest movement is invisible, and the greatest victory is the one that comes to you. Stand still. Let the world move toward you. Law 9. Win through your actions, never through argument. Words can't defeat pride. Arguments never create loyalty. They only feed resistance. The more you explain, the more they oppose. But actions silence doubt. In power, proof is louder than persuasion. The powerful don't argue, they demonstrate. They know that victory isn't about convincing someone, it's about leaving no room for denial. A single decisive act can shift minds more than 1,000 clever words. Debate invites resistance. Action demands respect. Arguments are emotional battles disguised as logic. You may win the point, but lose the person. In every conflict, the ego is your real opponent, and ego never admits defeat. It just waits to retaliate. Michelangelo didn't argue about his talent. He painted the Sistine Chapel. When critics doubted him, his brush made their words irrelevant. Action turned opinion into awe. In business, leadership, or competition, the loudest voice rarely wins. It's the consistent executor, the one who shows results, who changes narratives and builds credibility. Every argument costs energy, and energy is power. The wise conserve theirs for precision strikes. Let others talk while you make the next move. Silence followed by results is the ultimate rebuttal. Demonstrate, do not explicate. Arguments breed resentment. The more you argue, the less convincing you become. Robert Greene. Let your work be your language. Let your success end the debate. Don't fight for validation. Prove your value in motion, because every argument fades but achievement echoes. When you act with precision, even silence speaks for you. Less talk, more proof. Law 10. Infection. Avoid the unhappy and unlucky. Energy is contagious. Spend enough time around despair and it stains your ambition. Stand too close to failure and it starts whispering in your ear. Power isn't just what you build, it's what you protect. And nothing destroys faster than emotional infection. Human nature mirrors energy. Optimism breeds action. Pessimism breeds paralysis. Every circle you join is a current. It either pulls you forward or drags you down. Power demands selective proximity. Choose company not by comfort but by consequence. Because luck, good or bad, rubs off. Moods spread faster than facts. People radiate energy and that energy reshapes you. The chronically unhappy don't need to curse you. Their presence is enough. Napoleon surrounded himself with ambitious generals, but those who lingered with defeatists lost entire campaigns. A single pessimist infects an entire strategy. The mind catches weakness the way the body catches a cold. In business, friendships, or teams, energy alignment decides survival. Surround yourself with people who believe progress is possible. The company you keep either multiplies your power or drains it, drop by drop. Sometimes you are the infection. When your spirit falters, you pull others down, recognize it, reset and rise. Power starts with emotional discipline. Emotional states are as infectious as diseases. You may feel you are helping the drowning man, but you are only precipitating your own disaster. Robert Greene. Scan your environment, who feeds your fire, and who quietly drains it. Walk with visionaries, not victims. Stay close to those who build, dream, and believe. Because your circle is your future, protect your energy as fiercely as your reputation. Guard your energy. Choose your circle. Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. The moment they no longer need you, you become replaceable. Dependency isn't control, it's insurance. Power isn't about dominance, it's about necessity. Make yourself the one thing others can't function without, and you'll never fear losing your place again. Every system, kingdoms, corporations, teams, runs on dependence. Those who control the key resources, skills, or information control everyone who needs them. If independence is strength, interdependence is leverage. The powerful don't isolate themselves, they make themselves indispensable. To hold influence, you must supply what others cannot. Be the bridge, not the traveler. When people rely on your knowledge, your connections, or your calm, you hold the invisible contract of power. Cardinal Richelieu of France mastered this law. He made himself essential to both king and court, the mind no one could outthink, the advisor no one could replace. When kings changed, his influence remained. In business or leadership, dependency is built through expertise. Be the solver of critical problems. Build tools, networks, or systems others need daily. Control the supply and you define the demand. Power built on dependency can be misused, so design it not through manipulation but through mastery. By becoming so valuable that trust becomes inevitable. Ask yourself, what do people come to you for? If the answer is unclear, your power is fragile. Invest in mastery, not popularity. Build systems that make your presence essential, because when others depend on your value, your influence becomes permanent. Be necessary, be untouchable. Law 12. Use selective honesty and generosity to disarm your victim. A single act of honesty can mask 1,000 motives. A small gift can open doors words never could. In the game of power, sincerity isn't always truth, it's a strategy. Because the fastest way to lower someone's guard is to make them feel safe. Power rarely wins through force alone. Charm, timing, and generosity can achieve what arguments can't. When trust becomes your weapon, resistance fades before the battle begins. Selective honesty works because it rewires perception. People see what feels kind, not what is calculated. Humans crave sincerity. When you show small moments of vulnerability or kindness, you bypass their logic and reach their emotion. Once trust is earned, influence follows naturally. Count Victor Lustig, the con artist who sold the Eiffel Tower, used this law flawlessly. He began every scheme with an act of generosity, a returned wallet, a small gift, a gesture of respect. People saw his charm, not his intentions. And that illusion bought him power. In business or negotiations, start by giving. Offer value before asking for anything in return. Generosity builds emotional debt, and people repay it through loyalty, trust, or access. Too much honesty disarms you. Too much generosity invites exploitation. Use both sparingly, strategically, and only when they advance your purpose. Your influence begins where others' suspicion ends. Give, but with purpose. Be kind, but not blind. Let your honesty open doors, not expose your hand. Because in a world full of manipulation, controlled sincerity is the most dangerous form of truth. Disarm with kindness, control with clarity. Law 13. When asking for help, appeal to people's self-interest, never to their mercy or gratitude. No one helps out of kindness alone. They help because it helps them. Power understands this. Pity is weak currency, but opportunity buys everything. If you want support, don't ask for compassion. Offer advantage. Every alliance, every favor, every yes you receive is a transaction of interest. The skilled persuader doesn't plead, they position. Show people how helping you fulfills their goals, feeds their pride, or secures their future. In power, emotion fades, but interest endures. When you ask through emotion, you create debt. When you appeal to interest, you create partnership. Give people a reason to act that benefits them, and they'll move mountains for you. The Medici family didn't beg for alliances. They built them. They offered trade, protection, and profit. Every favor they asked strengthened both sides, turning obligation into mutual power. In leadership and negotiation, never sell your need, sell your value. People don't join missions to save others. They join because it elevates them. Show them how your success multiplies theirs. Flattery opens doors, but alignment keeps them open. Give others the illusion of generosity while ensuring their self-interest is the anchor. Never appeal to mercy or gratitude. Appeal instead to self-interest. If you need to turn an enemy into an ally, show them how helping you benefits them. When you ask for help, in business, in life, in power, never come empty-handed. Frame your need as an opportunity. Let others see your success as an extension of their own. Because when self-interest aligns with your vision, every yes becomes inevitable. Make every request a mutual victory. Law 14. Pose as a friend, work as a spy. The most dangerous advantage isn't strength, it's information. What you know determines what you can control. And the easiest way to learn someone's truth is to make them believe you're on their side. Power hides behind empathy because people reveal everything to those they think understand them. Information is the currency of power. The one who observes more decides more. Spying isn't about betrayal, it's about awareness. When you act as a friend, you access what rivals guard most, their fears, desires, and intentions. Power thrives on intelligence gathered quietly. People expose themselves through comfort. When they speak freely, they hand you their strategy. Listen not to respond, but to collect. Let silence become your interrogation. Catherine de' Medici filled her royal courts with servants who doubled as spies. They observed, listened, and whispered, feeding her truths no advisor dared speak aloud. While others ruled with armies, she ruled with information. In business, politics, or competition, insight outperforms aggression. Learn what drives your peers, your rivals, your leaders. When you understand their motives, you can predict their next move before they make it. This isn't manipulation, it's awareness. True power isn't deceit, it's understanding the landscape better than anyone else. Observe with respect, not malice. Influence begins with insight. Ask yourself, how well do you really know the people around you? Power doesn't come from guessing, it comes from knowing. Be friendly, be curious, be observant. The more you understand others, the less they can surprise you. And in every game of influence, knowledge wins before action begins. Observe quietly, control completely. Law 15. Neutralize opposition completely. Power fades when closure is incomplete. Challenges that are only half resolved return stronger than before. Real leadership is not about conflict, it is about completion. The moment you leave space for doubt, you invite instability. Every major test in business, strategy, or life ends one of two ways: with clear resolution or with endless repetition. When you address an issue only halfway, it grows quietly in the background. When you finish it with clarity, you free your focus for greater goals. Precision defines mastery. If a situation demands action, take it thoughtfully and decisively. Partial efforts create recurring obstacles. Complete resolution restores momentum. History remembers those who brought order through certainty. When challenges were closed, peace followed. Completion, not confrontation, built stability that lasted. In modern life, the rule is the same: finish what drains your attention, end recurring problems, vague commitments, and circular debates. Close the loop so progress can continue without distraction. Compassion still matters after resolution. Act with calm purpose, not emotion. Address what must be addressed, then move forward without resentment. Power is clarity. Do not linger in unfinished battles. Decide firmly, conclude fully. When uncertainty ends, peace begins. Be complete in your choices so calm can replace confusion. Complete it, then rest. Law 16. Use absence to increase respect and honor. When presence becomes routine, value fades. When silence replaces noise, mystery grows. The rare is revered, the constant is ignored. Power doesn't come from always being seen, it comes from being missed. In a world addicted to attention, restraint is revolutionary. Absence sharpens curiosity, forces reflection, and turns memory into admiration. By stepping away at the right time, you transform from accessible to iconic. Overexposure breeds indifference. The more people see you, the more they assume they understand you. Distance restores intrigue. Respect grows when your presence feels earned, not expected. Napoleon mastered this rhythm. He would disappear from public view, then return in a blaze of victory and vision. Each absence made his return feel monumental. His silence became strategy. In leadership and influence, constant availability cheapens authority. Step back to let your work echo. Create moments where your absence builds anticipation. Presence is powerful. Scarcity multiplies it. Absence isn't withdrawal, it's orchestration. Too long unseen, you risk being forgotten. Too constantly visible, you lose reverence. The art lies in knowing when to vanish. Pause your presence. Step back to amplify your impact. Don't chase validation. Create distance that commands attention. Let people feel your absence so that your return feels like an event, not a habit. The powerful don't vanish, they recalibrate. Disappear to be remembered. Law 17. Keep others in suspended terror. Cultivate an air of unpredictability. Predictability breeds comfort. Comfort breeds control for someone else. The moment people can read your next move, you've already lost the advantage. Power thrives on surprise, on rhythm broken without warning. The unpredictable leader isn't feared for aggression, they're feared for mystery. Throughout history, rulers who moved without pattern became untouchable. Their silence confused rivals, their timing terrified them. People crave certainty. Take it away and you control their emotions. Unpredictability doesn't mean chaos, it means calculated rhythm, mastered instability. When no one knows what you'll do next, every possibility belongs to you. Your uncertainty becomes their prison. Predictability gives others a map, unpredictability erases it. Stay silent when they expect words, move when they expect calm. Stalin ruled through psychological tension. Ministers never knew who would fall next. That fear kept loyalty absolute. He proved that power isn't just action, it's the expectation of it. In leadership, never reveal the full pattern. Vary tone, pace, decisions. Predictability invites rebellion. Unpredictability commands attention. Let surprise be your signature. The goal is not chaos, but control through contrast. You can be warm today, distant tomorrow, always intentional. Those who master uncertainty master attention. Do not build up patterns others can read. By being deliberately unpredictable, you keep them off balance and terrified. Stop being an open book. Let your rhythm confuse expectations. Speak less, move differently, pause deliberately. Power is not noise, it's timing. The unknown is your greatest weapon. Mystery is your armor. Predictable is powerless. Law 18. Do not build fortresses to protect yourself. Isolation is dangerous. Walls feel safe until they become cages. You think you're building protection, but what you're really building is distance. The more you shut the world out, the more power you surrender. Isolation doesn't defend you, it disconnects you, and power dies in silence long before it falls in battle. Throughout history, leaders have mistaken retreat for safety. Kings hid behind walls, CEOs hid behind closed doors. But what they couldn't see destroyed them. The higher the wall, the smaller their vision. Power demands awareness, and awareness demands connection. The more you isolate yourself, the weaker your instincts become. Distance blinds you to change, to danger, to truth. A wall that keeps enemies out also keeps information away. Stay open enough to hear what matters. Ancient emperors locked themselves in palaces surrounded by silence and praise. They thought isolation made them untouchable. It made them irrelevant. They lost power not to rebellion, but to ignorance. The unseen always strikes the hardest. Today, fortresses are invisible. Digital walls, filtered circles, selective voices. We call it privacy. It's really withdrawal. Every echo chamber feels safe until it blinds you to the world beyond it. Connection keeps your vision sharp. Power flows through movement, through people, dialogue, and awareness. Be present, be visible, be informed. The fortress offers comfort. Connection offers strength. Choose presence over protection. The danger of building fortresses is that isolation exposes you to more danger than it protects you from. It cuts you off from the information that keeps you alive. Step outside the walls you've built, physical or mental. Listen more, connect wider, and let information flow freely. Power grows when you're engaged, not when you're hidden. The world changes every second. Don't lock yourself away from it. Isolation may feel peaceful, but awareness is what keeps you powerful. Walls protect nothing. Awareness protects everything. Law 19. Know who you're dealing with. Do not offend the wrong person. Not every opponent is equal, and not every insult is forgotten. The most dangerous enemy is often the one who smiles in silence. Power isn't only about strength, it's about perception. One misjudged word, one careless tone, can ignite wars that never end. Before you act, learn who stands before you. History is littered with powerful figures undone not by their rivals, but by their ignorance. Those who mistake pride for weakness or calm for surrender fall the fastest. Power demands emotional intelligence, the ability to read people before you move against them. When you offend the wrong person, you don't lose a battle, you invite a vendetta. Some people fight with words, others with silence. Some explode immediately, others wait years to return the strike. Never assume temperament means harmlessness. Quiet pride is often the loudest threat. The Duke of Orleans once mocked a man he thought beneath him. The man smiled, said nothing, and later arranged the Duke's assassination. Greene reminds us never assume others will forget humiliation. Ego can sleep for years before it wakes in vengeance. In boardrooms, teams, and relationships, the same rule applies. Not all criticism lands equally. To one person, it's feedback. To another, it's betrayal. Power lies in awareness, knowing who absorbs insult and who amplifies it. Watch reactions, not just words. If someone hides emotion, triple your caution. If they smile too easily, question why. Power flows to those who listen with their eyes. Never assume that the person you're dealing with is weaker or less important than you. Some people's anger burns slowly, but when it ignites, it consumes everything. Study before you speak. Understand before you act. Power isn't in domination, it's in discernment. Know the pride, fear, and pressure that move those around you, because one wrong gesture toward the wrong person can turn a moment into a lifetime of consequence. Know the player before you make your move. Law. 20. Do not commit to anyone. Commitment feels noble, but in the game of power, it's a trap. The moment you choose a side too soon, you surrender leverage. Freedom belongs to the one who keeps both hands unbound. While others chain themselves to loyalty, the wise stay fluid, unreadable, free. Empires collapse because leaders tie themselves to failing allies. Businesses fall because visionaries marry one idea too long. The world changes, allegiance doesn't. Power survives through neutrality, the art of waiting until every side needs you. When all compete for your favor, you control the field. When you belong to no faction, you become the prize. Each side offers more to win you. Dependence fades, control grows. Your neutrality becomes the most desired position in the room. Napoleon shifted alliances like chess moves. He promised loyalty, delivered advantage, and left when benefit vanished. While others swore oaths, he kept options open until Europe bent around his decisions. Adaptation was his true allegiance. In negotiation, the one who commits last holds the leverage. Loyalty offered too early invites exploitation. Stay curious, stay unclaimed. Influence flows toward those who cannot be owned. Detachment isn't coldness, it's control. You engage, listen, and step back before emotion locks you in. Observation replaces obligation. Freedom is the most powerful contract of all. Do not commit to anyone. Stay above the fray. By maintaining your independence, you become the master of all. Robert Greene. Don't confuse loyalty with limitation. Stay patient before you pledge, deliberate before you decide. Let others rush to belong. You'll remain the one they chase. Commit only to your purpose, never to their pressure. Because in the arena of power, neutrality isn't avoidance, it's dominance. Freedom is power. Choose when to give it. Law. 21. Play a sucker to catch a sucker. Seem dumber than your mark. People fear humiliation more than defeat. Make them feel smarter and they'll stop watching you. Appear slow, curious, harmless, and they'll reveal the truth themselves. Intelligence hides best behind simplicity. The fool is a mask worn by the master. Power often hides behind performance. The loud try to impress. The wise prefer invisibility. History favors those who step back, who listen, who let arrogance build its own trap. To play the sucker is to control the rhythm of the game, because when they underestimate you, they stop defending themselves. Ask simple questions, let others explain, perform, reveal. They feel superior. You gather information. Every word they offer becomes a map of their weakness. Lustig sold the Eiffel Tower twice. He appeared polite, unsure, almost humble. His victims, convinced of their brilliance, never saw the trap. Charm disguised intelligence, humility became a weapon. In business or leadership, ego still blinds. Stay quiet when others compete to appear clever. Let them speak. Listen for patterns. You control the room by letting it underestimate you. Feign confusion when it buys you time. Pretend to learn while you plan. Those who laugh at you today will follow you tomorrow. Appear dumber than your mark. No one likes feeling stupider than the next person. If you make them believe they're smarter, they will never suspect your motives. Robert Greene. Don't fight for recognition. Wait for revelation. Let others boast their way into exposure. Patience is the intelligence that silence teaches. Appear smaller than you are, then move when it matters. In a world of performers, the observer always wins. Play small, win big. Lot or 22. Use the surrender tactic. Transform weakness into power. When defeat is certain, fighting harder only deepens the wound. The wise do not resist the storm. They let it pass and use its wind to move forward. Surrender isn't submission. It's strategy wearing patience as armor. Sometimes retreat is the only path to advance. Power isn't constant force. It's rhythm. To survive long enough to win, you must know when to bend and when to strike. Robert Greene calls it the surrender tactic, the art of transforming temporary weakness into lasting dominance. When you give way, you make the aggressor overconfident, and arrogance always collapses under its own weight. To resist when you're weak is pride, to yield is precision. Retreat gives you time, perspective, and control. By appearing defeated, you disarm aggression. The opponent relaxes, and that's when power returns to you. Napoleon often pretended to withdraw, letting enemies chase him. When their lines stretched thin, he turned and destroyed them. Surrender was illusion. Timing was truth. Victory favors those who appear defeated until the moment they're not. In business or leadership, surrender means pause, not loss. Let others exhaust themselves chasing attention or speed. Step back, recalibrate, observe the field, then return stronger while they're spent. In conflict, silence and restraint frighten more than rage. Yielding under pressure confuses aggressors. They crave resistance. When you don't fight, they lose their target and their balance. When you are weaker, never fight for honor's sake. Choose surrender instead. It gives you time to recover, time to torment your conqueror, and time to turn their victory into ashes. Don't rush to defend pride, protect position instead. Every setback carries the seed of leverage. Pause when the world expects aggression. Regain control through patience, not panic. Power that endures is never reactive. It's rhythmic. Yield today, command tomorrow. Latter 23. Concentrate your forces. Power isn't built by doing everything. It's built by doing one thing with absolute focus. Scatter your energy and you weaken your strike, but concentrate it and even a small action becomes unstoppable. The difference between noise and impact is direction. Power belongs to the focused. Throughout history, those who mastered one pursuit rewrote destiny. Generals, inventors, artists, they narrowed their aim until the world had to notice. Robert Greene's lesson is simple. Diffusion is decay. The more directions you chase, the faster strength evaporates. True power gathers, waits, and strikes only once. Every decision spends momentum. The fewer fronts you fight, the heavier your force becomes. Focus is gravity. It pulls success toward you. John D. Rockefeller refused distraction. While competitors diversified, he perfected oil refinement and dominated an industry. His empire wasn't built on breadth, it was built on focus. Modern life worships busyness over effectiveness. Distraction masquerades as ambition. But the mind cannot sharpen and scatter at the same time. Mastery requires elimination. Power isn't having more options, it's having one that matters. Say no to everything that dilutes purpose. Every rejection is a reinforcement of strength. Conserve your forces and energies by keeping them concentrated at their strongest point. Intensity defeats extensity every time. Robert Greene. Decide what matters most and cut everything else. Let focus be your discipline, not your limitation. You don't need more hours, you need fewer distractions. Energy is finite, direction is choice. Concentrate your forces and watch the world bend toward your will. Focus is the engine of power. Lot 24. Play the perfect courtier. Power rarely shouts, it whispers. In every age, the most powerful weren't kings with crowns, but courtiers with charm. They mastered the art of influence without authority, control without confrontation. In the palace or the boardroom, the perfect courtier doesn't rule, he guides those who do. Robert Greene calls this the law of social survival. In royal courts, a single misstep could end a career. Flattery, grace, and timing were lifelines. Today, the same rules govern offices, networks, and negotiations. The courtier thrives not by force, but by finesse, winning favor through poise, observation, and empathy. Commanding a room isn't about volume, it's about control of silence. The courtier moves with purpose, speaks with precision, and never competes for attention. Grace makes others lean in, mystery makes them listen. Flattery is currency. Spent sparingly, it buys trust. The courtier never flatters to please, but to reveal what drives others. Every compliment is a mirror held toward their ego. The courtier reads tone and adjusts instantly. Among warriors, he speaks boldly. Among thinkers, he moves quietly. His identity is fluid, his core unchanged. Power lives in adaptation. The perfect courtier never seems to control, yet everything moves around his gravity. He lets others believe they're leading while their choices quietly fulfill his intent. Influence without visibility is the purest form of power. The perfect courtier thrives in a world where everything revolves around power and political dexterity. They flatter, yield to superiors, and assert power gracefully over others. In your world, courts still exist. They just look different. Master tone before you master strategy. Listen longer, speak slower, observe more. Charm disarms faster than anger ever can. Power earned through elegance lasts longer than power won by force. Grace is the language of power. Law 25, recreate yourself. You were not born finished. Identity isn't a discovery, it's a design. Those who cling to what they were will fade. Those who reinvent will rise. Every version of yourself is a draft. Your power lies in rewriting it. Robert Greene calls reinvention the eternal strategy of power. History's strongest didn't adapt, they transformed. Kings became philosophers, artists became icons, warriors became symbols. In a world that rewards novelty, identity is your most valuable creation. To recreate yourself is to seize authorship of how the world defines you. The self is not discovered, it's constructed. Habits, image, and language are brushstrokes on a living canvas. Power begins when you stop reacting to perception and start designing it. Madonna reinvented herself with every decade. She stayed ahead not by repeating success, but by burning it down and starting again. Reinvention keeps relevance eternal. Let go of versions that no longer serve your next ascent. Comfort chains you to the past. The world remembers not who you were, but who you become next. Recreation isn't chaos, it's choreography. You choose the rhythm, the timing, the story. When change becomes deliberate, destiny follows. Do not accept the roles society foists on you. Recreate yourself by forging a new identity, one that commands attention and never bores the audience. Erase the limits others wrote for you. Craft a self that reflects purpose, not permission. Transformation is not betrayal, it's evolution. When you change with intent, power follows naturally. Recreate yourself again and again until your reflection feels like freedom. Become the author of yourself. Law 26, keep your hands clean. In power, purity is perception, not reality. The true masters never appear ruthless, even when their will shapes everything. They let others act out their dirty work while they remain untarnished, calm, and admired. In every empire, the most dangerous hands are the ones that look spotless. Robert Greene reminds us, reputation is fragile, and morality is a mask of influence. To move freely, you must appear untouched by the chaos you create. Leaders, politicians, and moguls know the public forgives mistakes, but never forgives corruption. Let others play the visible roles while you orchestrate from behind the curtain. Never be seen taking the knife, only giving the order. Delegate controversy, but own success. Power thrives on plausible innocence. History's most calculating rulers built systems that let them appear above conflict. They smiled in public while their agents maneuvered in the dark. Control doesn't require fingerprints, only influence. Many lost everything because they acted too directly. They wanted credit for every move, every victory. But visibility invites blame. Even the right act looks wrong when done by the wrong hands. In business, politics, and personal life, build buffers. Advisors, systems, and intermediaries are your shields. If a plan fails, they absorb the damage. If it works, you collect the reward. Never appear the villain. Use others as scapegoats and cat's paws to disguise your involvement in the manipulations of power. Robert Greene. Let your image remain clean even when your influence is not. Operate through layers, not lies, but leverage. The one who seems innocent controls those who seem active. Move the world quietly, invisibly, and when the storm ends, step forward spotless, smiling, untouchable. Power is pure only when it looks that way. Law 27 play on. People's need to believe to create a cult-like following. Every soul craves meaning. When logic fails, belief fills the void. The powerful understand this hunger and feed it carefully. People will follow the one who gives them purpose, not proof. Robert Greene writes that faith is the oldest currency of power. Leaders, movements, and brands all rise on the same principle: give people a dream large enough to believe in. They don't seek truth, they seek certainty. And certainty, even if crafted, can move nations. People follow those who promise direction in a chaotic world, offer a vision, not an argument. Belief is emotional gravity. It pulls people together when facts cannot. Charisma is not loudness, it's certainty expressed calmly. Every great leader projects unshakable conviction. When you radiate belief, others borrow it to fill their doubt. Jobs didn't sell computers. He sold belief in creativity itself. He turned a brand into a movement by making users feel chosen. When people see themselves in your vision, they defend it as their own. Give followers rituals, symbols, and stories. People don't just want to believe, they want to belong. Structure their hope, and they'll build your empire for you. People have an overwhelming need to believe in something. Become the focal point of such desire by offering them a cause, a new faith to follow. Don't just sell an idea, ignite a belief. Speak to what people long for, not just what they see. Offer a mission, a story, a reason to belong. The world follows certainty, the world follows faith. Create meaning, and they will create your power. Give them belief, and they'll give you power. Law 28. Enter action with boldness. Hesitation is the death of opportunity. Every great victory begins with one decisive step forward. When you move with confidence, the world aligns to your momentum. The timid wait for permission. The bold create the path. Robert Greene teaches that audacity is more persuasive than reason. Boldness disorients opponents, inspires followers, and multiplies influence. While the cautious debate, the daring advance. Power doesn't favor the perfect, it favors the fearless. Boldness is strategy disguised as courage. When you act without fear, hesitation dies in others too. Certainty is contagious. It spreads faster than logic. Alexander the Great attacked first, always. He didn't wait for the right moment. He made it. Each victory began not with numbers, but with nerve. The bold redefined timing itself. In leadership, business, or art, boldness commands respect. Launch before you're ready. Speak before you're invited. Action creates clarity. Hesitation breeds regret. Fortune favors motion. Once you begin, keep advancing until resistance bends. The world yields to the one who moves like they belong there. If you are unsure of a course of action, do not attempt it. Your doubts will infect your execution. Be bold and you will be respected. Boldness isn't arrogance, it's belief in motion. Don't wait to feel ready. Act, and readiness will follow. When others freeze, step. When others whisper, declare. The first to move owns the future. Fortune follows the bold. Law 29. Plan all the way to the end. Power isn't in motion, it's in direction. The powerful see 10 moves ahead while others only see the next step. Most people start strong and stumble. Masters begin by already knowing the finish line. Every victory is designed before it's declared. Robert Greene reminds us that foresight is more than strategy. It's survival. History favors those who anticipate, not those who react. Napoleon, Rockefeller, and every great builder knew this truth. If you don't plan the ending, you'll become part of someone else's plan. Planning is imagination with structure. It's seeing the invisible routes before you move. Those who act without blueprint invite chaos to lead them. Napoleon's downfall in Russia wasn't lack of courage, it was lack of completion. He marched with passion, not preparation. A plan without an end is just a wish disguised as motion. Work backward from victory. See every obstacle before it appears. When you can visualize failure, you disarm it. Planning demands stillness. A rushed plan is just another mistake in advance. The patient strategist controls both the timeline and the outcome. The ending is everything. Plan all the way to it, taking into account all the possible consequences, obstacles, and twists of fortune. Robert Greene. Before you begin, finish it in your mind. Plot your ending with precision, then march toward it without distraction. The unplanned get lost in the fog. the prepared see through it. Every empire begins with a map, draw yours. Power belongs to those who think to the end. Law 30. Make your accomplishments seem effortless. True power doesn't sweat, it glides. Those who struggle loudly are forgotten. Those who perform silently are remembered. Mastery is not in the work itself, but in hiding the work beneath grace. The powerful don't show process, only perfection. Robert Greene reveals that effortlessness is illusion, the art of appearing natural while concealing the grind beneath. In courts, theaters, and modern boardrooms, it's the same performance. Make complexity look simple and others will call it genius. Because mystery commands more admiration than sweat. Excellence loses value when it looks difficult. Hide the hours, reveal the harmony. When your skill looks effortless, your presence becomes magnetic. Leonardo da Vinci never explained his process. He revealed only the masterpiece, not the method. That silence became his legend. The less they know, the more they believe. Panic exposes weakness, composure radiates control. Even in chaos, the calm one leads. Grace under pressure is not luck, it's discipline disguised as confidence. In business and art alike, never show the strain. Finish your masterpiece, then act as if it came naturally. Effortless execution is power made visible. Your actions must seem natural and executed with ease. All the toil and practice that go into them must be concealed. Never flaunt the struggle. Refine it into silence. Let your work speak without your defense. Every flawless act hides unseen effort beneath. Be the calm in the storm, the stillness behind the motion. The world crowns the one who makes power look easy. Power performed in silence becomes art. Law 31. Control the options. Get others to play with the cards you deal. Real power doesn't always command, it designs choices. The skilled strategist never forces obedience, they engineer consent. Freedom becomes illusion when every path leads to your plan. Control isn't about saying no, it's about defining yes. Robert Greene calls this the law of invisible influence, the art of guiding others while letting them believe they're free. History's most subtle rulers offered choices that weren't choices at all. From politics to business, the illusion of agency builds loyalty deeper than command. Power flows not from control, but from control disguised as choice. Frame the decisions before anyone else can. When people choose within your structure, they believe they've won. The boundaries you draw define their freedom. Henry Kissinger often offered the president two options, one reckless, one wise, knowing which would be chosen. By curating choices, he ruled outcomes from the shadows. That's not persuasion, that's architecture. Smart negotiators design pricing tiers, project packages, and deals where every option benefits them. The customer feels in control, but every route returns to profit. Structure is strategy. People defend choices they believe are theirs. Give them limited freedom and they'll guard your design like it was their idea. Influence becomes permanent when it feels personal. The best deceptions are the ones that seem to give the other person a choice. Your victims feel they are in control, but are actually your puppets. Robert Greene. Stop reacting to others' terms. Create your own. In every deal, every conversation, shape the frame first. Offer paths that lead to your vision no matter the choice. The world bends to the one who builds the rules. Control the cards, and you'll never lose the hand. Control the frame, and you control the game. Law 32. Play to people's fantasies. Reality is heavy. Imagination is light. Most people live surrounded by limits, longing for escape. The powerful don't argue with reality. They paint over it. Give people illusion, and they'll give you loyalty. Humans chase the image of happiness, not the substance. Offer what they dream of, not what they have. The one who defines fantasy defines the future. The Sun King built Versailles not as a palace, but as a spectacle. He gave nobles gold ceilings and endless mirrors, blinding them with beauty while binding them to his power. Fantasy became architecture, and architecture became control. Brands, leaders, and creators thrive on story, not statistics. When reality is dull, promise transformation. When truth is ordinary, offer magic. Power lies in crafting the dream others wish were true, but beware, when fantasy collapses, trust dies. Keep dreams believable just beyond reach. Feed hope, not delusion. The line between vision and deceit is power's edge. Don't just speak to the world, enchant it. Turn vision into color, emotion into motion. Give people a dream they can live inside. When you feed imagination, you feed influence. Reality builds walls, fantasy builds followers. Power is the art of beautiful illusion. Law 33. Discover each man's thumbscrew. Every person has a lever, a secret fear, desire, or need that bends their will. Power isn't brute force, it's precision. Find the pressure point, and you move the whole machine. Robert Greene calls this the law of psychological leverage. Empires, deals, and relationships hinge on one hidden truth. People reveal themselves through emotion. Observe what excites them, what angers them, what they chase or avoid. Find that core and influence becomes effortless. Even the strongest armor hides a crack. Look for patterns. Pride, greed, validation, guilt. The thumbscrew isn't always pain, sometimes it's praise. Cesare Borgia mastered nobles by learning their weaknesses: lust, fear, ambition. He offered each exactly what they couldn't resist, and ruled them through gratitude and dread. Listen longer than you speak. Let silence uncover motives. People tell you their secrets without realizing they've spoken. In business and politics, power belongs to the one who understands incentive. Study what drives others: status, safety, belonging, then align your offer with their need. You're not manipulating, you're mastering psychology. Find each man's weakness, his secret desire, his hidden fear. Once found, never reveal it, but use it with care. Influence begins with empathy, not dominance. Understand before you persuade. The world opens to those who read people, not those who push them. Find the thumbscrew and turn it gently. Precision moves mountains where force only breaks them. Know their lever and you control the motion. Law 34. Be royal in your own fashion. Act like a king to be treated like one. Respect is a mirror. It reflects what you project. If you carry yourself as common, the world treats you as replaceable. But walk with quiet majesty and even doubt kneels. Power begins the moment you decide you deserve it. People rarely see you as you are. They see you as you present yourself. Stand tall, speak measured, move deliberately. The posture of confidence becomes its proof. Before power, Caesar dressed, spoke, and commanded like royalty. By acting above rank, he was treated above rank. Authority responds to attitude long before titles. In business, sport, or art, your brand is your crown. Guard it through restraint and clarity. The loud lose respect, the composed command it. Never beg, never chase validation. Walk as if recognition has already arrived. The world bows to certainty disguised as grace. Act like a king to be treated like one. Your confidence will make others believe in your destiny and honor your presence. Stand as though you belong where you wish to be. Dress your mind in confidence before your body in style. Royalty is not blood, it's belief. Carry yourself with honor, move with poise, and watch respect assemble around you like a cord. Wear your dignity, and the world will bow to it. Law 35. Master the art of timing. Power lives in rhythm. Move too fast and you shatter opportunity. Move too slow and it passes you by. The wise wait until the moment ripens and then act as if time itself obeyed their signal. Robert Greene calls timing the heartbeat of power. Across history, empires rose and fell because someone moved a beat too soon or too late. Great strategists study patience as an art. They listen for the silence before the storm and step in only when the world is ready to receive them. The impatient reveal intent too early. Patience lets others drain their energy. When you move at the exact moment, one action replaces 100 words. John D. Rockefeller watched markets quietly. He bought only when panic had emptied the room. His fortune was built not on speed, but on timing. Powerful leaders slow the room. They pause before speaking and let silence do the work. Those who control tempo control emotion, design pace. Let competitors burn through urgency while you move in measure. The future belongs to those who treat patience as strategy, never seem in a hurry. Patience signals control, haste reveals fear. Do not rush time. Tune to it. Pause when others panic. Observe the pattern beneath the noise. When you sense the moment, step forward as if destiny was waiting for you. Those who master timing master fate. Law 36. Disdain things you cannot have. Ignoring them is the best revenge. Power isn't shown through reaction. It's proven through restraint. The moment you chase what's denied, you give it value. The moment you ignore it, you reclaim control. Indifference is not weakness, it's invisible dominance. Robert Greene reminds us that desire feeds what it cannot possess. Throughout history, kings, rivals, and lovers have lost power not from defeat but from obsession. To disdain is to dethrone. By turning away from what provokes you, you make it smaller. Power belongs to those who choose silence over struggle. What you resist grows stronger. Attention is fuel. Remove it and fire fades. The world cannot pull you where you refuse to look. When insulted by pamphleteers, Napoleon never responded. His silence made the mockery disappear. Contempt starves envy faster than anger ever could. In business and life, distraction is the enemy of direction. Ignore petty rivals, lost deals, or loud critics. Every reaction drains energy from creation. Detachment is not indifference, it's discipline. You rise above by refusing to descend. Those who ignore insults choose altitude over argument. By acknowledging a petty problem, you give it existence and credibility. Ignore it and you make it vanish. When provoked, don't respond, redirect. Every silence you hold is an act of strength. Withdraw your attention from the meaningless and invest it in mastery. The world belongs to those who choose where to look and what to ignore. Indifference is the final form of power. Law 37: create compelling spectacles. Power unseen fades, power displayed endures. The world remembers what it can see. The greatest leaders, artists, and empires understood. A single image can rule more minds than 1,000 words. Robert Greene reminds us that people are drawn not to logic, but to theater. Throughout history, spectacle has been the crown of influence. Caesar paraded his victories through Rome. Modern visionaries use screens instead of marble, yet the spell is the same. Those who master attention master belief. The unseen are forgotten. Make your presence impossible to ignore. Whether you lead a movement or a meeting, create moments people cannot look away from. The Sun King ruled through theater. His palace at Versailles wasn't just home, it was a stage. Every mirror, feast, and gesture reminded France that he was the center of gravity. In a world of endless noise, clarity wins. Your brand, your work, your presence, all must be crafted as experience. When you design how the world sees you, you shape what it believes about you. Spectacle is not vanity, it's strategy. Awe silences skepticism. When you elevate emotion, logic follows. Attention becomes loyalty when wrapped in wonder. Striking imagery and grand symbolic gestures create the aura of power. Everyone responds to them. Don't just speak, show. Turn your ideas into light, your story into theater. Let every presentation, every reveal, every act be unforgettable. People follow what dazzles them. Make your presence the performance they never forget. Power shines brightest when the world is watching. Law 38: think as you like but behave like others. In a world that worships belonging, rebellion must be silent. The wise keep their difference hidden beneath a calm surface. You don't change systems by fighting them. You change them by moving unseen within them. Robert Greene teaches that bold individuality often provokes more resistance than respect. Galileo believed the earth revolved around the sun, but publicly agreed with the church. He survived because he disguised truth within acceptance. Power bends reality not through confrontation, but through patience and subtle disguise. To fit in is not to surrender, it's to secure ground for influence. The mask of conformity protects the mind that thinks freely. When the crowd believes you're one of them, they stop watching your hands. Galileo preserved his genius by hiding it in plain sight. He let others believe they'd won, while time proved him right. Sometimes survival is the highest form of victory. In business, politics, and art, the loud disruptor burns fast. The quiet innovator shapes the system from within. You don't need to shout to shift direction. You just need to move differently. Keep your private truth sacred and your public self adaptable. Act ordinary. Think extraordinary. Influence flows from invisibility. Think as you like, but behave like others. If you make a show of going against the times, flaunting your unconventional ideas, people will think you only want attention. Robert Greene. Hide brilliance until the moment it's needed. Speak less, move quietly, think deeply. Let others feel comfortable around you, even as you outthink them. Blend in until you become the current they never saw coming. Silence is the disguise of genius. Law 39, stir up waters to catch fish. When emotions rise, judgment sinks. The powerful stay calm while others drown in anger. The more you disturb the surface, the more truth floats to the top. Control emotion, and you control the outcome. Robert Greene teaches that nothing exposes weakness faster than emotion. Napoleon provoked his enemies into reckless moves by staying calm while they burned with pride. The storm doesn't destroy the calm, it reveals who commands it. Power belongs to those who know how to disturb others without losing their own balance. Anger pulls you downward. Stay above the turbulence. When you remain composed, chaos becomes your ally. Napoleon knew how to unnerve opponents. He would appear utterly calm while their tempers betrayed them. Each outburst revealed their fears. Each mistake became his advantage. In negotiations, leadership, or relationships, agitation clouds clarity. When others push for reaction, pause. The silence after their anger is where your strategy begins. To read someone's truth, gently shake their calm, agitate the water, then watch what rises. But never let your own reflection break. Anger and emotion are strategically counterproductive. You must always stay calm and objective, but if you can make your enemies angry, you gain a decided advantage. Let others reveal themselves through chaos. You stay composed. The storm is your disguise. In every conflict, your calm is the weapon they can't predict. The stillest hand catches the fastest fish. Disturb the waters, but never lose your reflection. Law 40. Despise the free lunch. Nothing powerful is ever truly free. Every gift has a hidden invoice, every favor a string. The wise don't chase free offerings, they pay their own price to stay untethered. Independence is the only true luxury. Robert Greene teaches that dependence is the silent killer of power. Throughout history, the ones who accepted free gifts became servants to unseen debts. P.T. Barnum built his empire by offering entertainment that seemed free, while the crowd paid in attention, loyalty, and awe. The powerful understand what costs nothing often costs everything. Free offers are never about generosity, they're about leverage. Behind every gift is expectation, behind every favor a future claim. The strong prefer clarity over comfort. P.T. Barnum gave people spectacle for a coin and made them believe they got more than they paid for. In truth, they were paying with belief, and belief was priceless. That is the real price of free. In business, the free trial and special offer aren't generosity. They're data collection and psychological hooks. When you accept too much for nothing, you sign invisible contracts. Pay your own way, and keep your autonomy intact. Saying no to the easy path is an act of dignity. The moment you pay your price, you own your freedom. Dependence decorates the weak. Self-reliance crowns the strong. What is offered for free is dangerous. It usually involves either a trick or a hidden obligation. What has worth is worth paying for. Buy your independence every day. Decline shortcuts. Build what you need instead of begging for it. The ones who pay their price once stand taller than those who keep paying in loyalty. Law 41. Avoid stepping into a great man's shoes. In the shadow of greatness, even light looks dim. Those who try to replace legends end up repeating them, never surpassing. Power demands originality. To walk your own path, you must first step off theirs. Robert Greene reminds us that success borrowed from another becomes a burden. The successor inherits expectation, not admiration. When you follow a legend, you're compared before you even begin. True leaders don't imitate legacy, they invent direction. Greatness leaves footprints so deep that others stumble trying to fill them. When you mimic, you become a memory, not a movement. The future belongs to those who redefine, not repeat. Louis XVI inherited the throne of Louis XIV, the Sun King. He tried to rule in his image and lost both the throne and the people. Power fades when you act like an echo. In business, art, or sport, the imitator competes in someone else's story. The innovator writes a new one. Relevance is not inherited, it's rebuilt. Respect the past, but don't live in it. The great ones honor history by creating new history. Progress begins where imitation ends. What happens first always appears better and more original than what comes after. Don't get lost in another's shadow. Find your own sunlight. Let legacy inspire, not imprison. You owe no imitation to the past, only evolution. Be the new voice, not the next version. Those who walk beside history eventually become it. The future doesn't follow footsteps, it leaves new ones. Law 42, strike the shepherd and the sheep will scatter. Every group moves to the rhythm of its guide. When the guiding voice loses clarity, the chorus falls silent. True strategy is not confrontation, it's redirection. Influence begins when you understand where energy originates. When clarity fades, unity dissolves. The skilled strategist restores focus by addressing the center of communication. In every era, leaders who stabilized turmoil did so by engaging the key influencer, not by confronting the masses. When guidance realigns, confusion evaporates. In organizations, tension often traces back to one strong personality or opinion loop. Address concerns privately, restore direction publicly, energy follows equilibrium, strategic leadership is measured, not emotional. Identify, understand, and recalibrate the influence point. The goal is alignment, not elimination. When you notice unrest, look for its source, bring balance there, and the rest will settle naturally. Before reacting to noise, find the signal. Every system has a pulse, learn to steady it. Influence isn't about removing people, it's about restoring balance through understanding. Power grows quiet when clarity returns. Center the source and peace follows. Law 43, work on the hearts and minds of others. Force wins obedience, but only emotion wins loyalty. Power built on fear fades when the threat disappears. Power built on respect lasts long after you've left the room. Robert Greene reminds us that people are not moved by logic alone. They follow those who make them feel understood. History belongs to those who influence emotion with integrity and vision. Leaders who touch hearts inspire movements. Those who ignore them lead empty halls. Reason guides action, but emotion fuels it. Win minds through empathy, not argument. Influence begins with understanding before persuasion. Gandhi led not with force, but conviction. His calm defiance spoke directly to people's conscience. He didn't demand loyalty, he inspired it. In today's world, emotional intelligence is the new authority. In boardrooms, teams, and societies, those who listen shape those who follow. Understanding others turns influence into art. Influence is balance. Logic opens doors, empathy keeps them open. People trust those who make them feel seen. Seduce the hearts of others and their minds will follow. Robert Greene. Be the voice that others want to believe in. Don't dominate. Connect. Don't command. Just inspire. When you win hearts, minds follow willingly. The greatest leaders don't demand loyalty, they awaken it. The heart follows feeling and power follows the heart. Law 44, disarm and infuriate with the mirror effect. When you reflect people's behavior back to them, you take away their control. Nothing confuses or disarms more than their own reflection staring back. Mirroring transforms conflict into confusion and confusion into quiet advantage. Robert Greene reveals that reflection is the most elegant form of defense. When opposed, don't resist, reflect. Show them their tone, their gestures, their logic. In the mirror, they face themselves, and confrontation dissolves into introspection. When people attack, they expect resistance. When they see their own behavior mirrored, their certainty breaks. Reflection makes them self-aware, and hesitation gives you control. In ancient China, strategist Cai Wenqi diffused hostility by mimicking the emperor's speech patterns and tone. The emperor saw his own arrogance reflected and softened his stance. Reflection created balance where persuasion failed. In business and conversation, mirroring builds rapport, or in conflict, reveals aggression. By matching rhythm, tone, and posture, you project understanding while remaining unreadable. Mirroring isn't mockery, it's mastery. You neutralize chaos by returning it unchanged. Stillness becomes strategy when the world expects reaction. The mirror reflects reality, but it is also the perfect tool for deception. When you mirror your enemies, they cannot figure out your strategy. In moments of tension, pause. Let emotion pass through you, not from you. Reflect energy, don't absorb it. Those who master calm reflection rule chaos without speaking a word. Power often hides in perfect stillness. Law 45, preach the need for change but never reform too much at once. Change is the lifeblood of power, yet too much of it feels like chaos. People want progress, but only if it still looks familiar. True influence moves gradually with calm precision. Transformation must never arrive as a shock. The most successful leaders understand rhythm. They guide people gently from old to new. Even visionaries must disguise change as continuity, allowing minds to adapt one step at a time. Too much change too soon creates fear. Gradual motion builds trust. Progress is accepted when it feels safe. Reformers who lasted understood patience. They introduced new systems through familiar language and stable symbols. They built comfort before they built change. Today, innovation still needs reassurance. When you bring new ideas to people, anchor them in something they already trust. The mind resists what feels foreign but welcomes what feels natural. Change works best when framed as improvement, not replacement. Show what will stay before revealing what will shift. Evolution, not revolution, is the true path to lasting influence. Too much innovation creates fear. Introduce change gradually, and it will last. Move with patience, lead with understanding, guide change with empathy and rhythm. People follow progress when it respects their pace. Change that listens becomes change that lasts. Change wisely and time will move with you. Law 46, never appear too perfect. Perfection inspires admiration, but it also invites resentment. People forgive flaws because they see themselves in them, show no weakness, and they'll search for one. Show just enough humanity, and you become untouchable in a different way, through trust. The appearance of perfection isolates the powerful. The more flawless you seem, the more others feel small in your presence. History celebrates heroes who revealed their struggles, because humility bridges distance. The strongest leaders understand that vulnerability, when controlled, is not weakness, it's connection. Flawless images create invisible enemies. When you seem beyond fault, people stop cheering. They start comparing. Perfection without warmth becomes isolation. Julius Caesar wept before the statue of Alexander, showing that even greatness carries doubt. His moment of humanity deepened his legend, not diminished it. People follow those who feel real. In the age of curated lives and filtered success, authenticity stands out more than polish. Leaders and creators who share struggle gain loyalty that perfection can't buy. Relatability is the new charisma. Reveal enough flaw to be believable, not broken. Let people see the cracks that let your light through. Balance pride with honesty, excellence with empathy. Appearing too perfect arouses envy and hostility. Make it clear that you have flaws, and you will disarm jealousy. Perfection is an illusion. Connection is real. Be brilliant, but be human. Let others see that success is earned, not effortless. When you reveal your humanity, people don't compete with you. They stand with you. What's real endures longer than what's flawless. Law 47, do not go past the mark you aimed for. In victory, learn when to stop. Every mountain peak hides a descent. The moment of triumph is also the edge of downfall. Power is not in reaching the top, it's in knowing when to pause. Robert Greene reminds us that overreaching is the silent undoing of the powerful. Ambition drives success, but excess ambition erases it. Great conquerors and leaders often fall not from defeat, but from momentum, unable to slow their own rise. Victory without restraint becomes vanity. Every achievement has a moment of balance. Push too far and gravity takes its course. The wise step back before the fall begins. Alexander conquered the known world, then marched farther, restless for more. His empire stretched too wide, his soldiers too weary. His ambition outgrew his control. Greatness lost its center. In leadership and success, knowing when to pause is a mark of mastery. After victory, reflection is strategy. Stop climbing only when you see the full view, not when you're pushed to the edge. Restraint is strength disguised as silence. The final act of wisdom is not in doing more, but in choosing less. When you stop with grace, your legacy continues to rise. The moment of victory is often the moment of greatest peril. Know when to stop and you will outlast time. Celebrate success, but stay alert. Pause before progress becomes obsession. True mastery isn't endless pursuit, it's knowing when enough is complete. Power preserved is greater than power spent. The climb ends where wisdom begins. Law 48, assume formlessness. Power that stands still eventually breaks. Those who adapt endure. Form invites prediction. Movement creates mystery. The strongest presence is the one that cannot be defined. Robert Greene closes his work with a simple truth. Rigidity is death. The world changes faster than certainty can hold. The wise stay fluid, adjusting, blending, evolving with each moment. Water carves stone not by strength but by persistence. To be untouchable, you must become ungraspable. Power is a current, not a container. Adapt to new shapes, new rules, new worlds. Those who cling to one identity are conquered by it. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu taught that the greatest warriors are like water. Formless, unpredictable, unstoppable. When your shape is undefined, no one can strike it. Flexibility is the armor of the wise. Today, adaptability is power. Industries, ideas, and empires shift overnight. Those who survive don't resist change, they guide it. Your greatest form is the ability to reshape your own. Reinvention is not loss, it is mastery. Each time you let go of old forms, you expand. Evolution is not a phase, it's the definition of life itself. By taking a shape, by having a visible plan, you open yourself to attack. Instead, be adaptable, formless like water. Do not cling, do not freeze. Move with time, not against it. Let your mind remain liquid, shaping itself to every challenge. In formlessness lies freedom. In adaptability lies eternity. Form ends, power flows. Thank you for watching the summarized version of the ebook, The 48 Laws of Power by Robert Greene. If you enjoyed this video and would like to see more insightful summaries and motivational stories, please comment, like, and subscribe to my channel, Thinktainment. Your support keeps this journey alive. Thank you for being part of the Thinktainment community. Think beyond power, Thinktainment.